Welcome to the Jaguar King podcast. I'm your host, Armin, and in this week's episode, Gardner Minshew punts Trevor Lawrence all the way over to the Jets. This was such a frustrating loss. Jaguars lose to the Titans 33-30 on a game-winning field goal by the guy who missed a ton of kicks against the Denver Broncos. Super frustrating. It was a hard-fought game, and it sucks the way it ended it the way they did. I hate to blame anybody else but the Jacksonville Jaguars for this game, but the refs were awful this game. And I mean on both sides. It wasn't just on Jacksonville's side. They had some bad calls for Tennessee as well. But they would throw a flag, meet up in the middle of the field for 3 minutes, sit there and hold each other's chins and all that type of stuff. And then they'd pick up the flag and be like, okay, we're good, no flag. Well, at least explain why there's no flag. Was there no hold? Was there this? Did the player do this? They literally just like, no, we're good here. Keep moving. I mean, they had a questionable PI on Josh Jones, that really questionable PI on Miles Jack. I feel bad for my wife. She kept saying, like, the game was over. Oh, what are we going to go do? And literally my only response was, why'd they call that PI on Miles Jack? Outside of the external forces, whatever you may call them, Jacksonville Jaguars shot themselves in the foot a lot this game, so it wasn't all on that. You can't put all the blame on that. Veterans made mistakes. Some rookies made mistakes. And there was more reasons they lost that game than, just that. So let's get into it. So in my preview video, I mentioned that Jacksonville Jaguars had to get it to a fast start in order to stay on top of this game. They did the complete opposite. First, play from scrimmage. Jonnu Smith is just roaming around 30 yards downfield, wide open, catches the pass, takes it down to the 10-yard line. So this just raises the question for me, why does this keep happening? This happened in the 2017 season. This happened in the 2018 and 2019 season. Constantly, players were just roaming the field, setting up a picnic, waiting for the quarterback to throw in the ball because they're just wide open because of some coverage bust. Now, I'm trying to give Todd Wash a chance here because what else do I got to do? I mean, I have to give him a chance. He's the coordinator for them. But I wanted him fired last year. But regardless, there's always some sort of coverage bust in the play. The quarterback's always finding the perfect matchup. From my understanding, this offense was made to be simple so players can play fast. There's not too much going on. That way this stuff doesn't happen, right? But how does it keep happening? Is the scheme too confusing for the players that they don't know where they're supposed to be? Or is it on the other end of the spectrum where the offenses know how to exploit this defense and they keep finding the holes? We have too many, regular tendencies that show out and teams just know how to beat this defense. To me, that comes down to coaching. Either you're not teaching it right or we're not executing right. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think, but I'm just starting to think that there's something missing there with Todd Wash, and it's just not getting to the players. They did wake up the second half, but, I mean, how many times does this have to happen before we start to question why? Anyway, with that being said, they scored. They're up 7-0 just like that. On the ensuing drive, Jacksonville Jaguars are coming down the field, but it comes to a halt when Minshew throws a pick. Initially, it looked like he threw it too high for Colin Johnson, but when you watch the replay, it looks like he was intending to throw the Oshag Hennessy, and then Colin Johnson tipped it up in the air thinking it was for him. I mean, he's 6'10". It doesn't look like it's out of his reach that much. Unfortunate kind of play, goes right to the Titans corner. He takes it down to the 30, and Titans capitalize on that. They score, and they're up 14-0. Fast start, not happening. On the next drive, Jacksonville's second possession, this drive speaks volumes for Minshew and why I think he's going to be a good QB moving forward. So he's down 14-0. He just threw a pick. He knows that he's got to put his team on his back. The dude's got to score 50 because his defense is just falling asleep over there. He's got to play his ass off to make sure they're in the game, let alone winning the game. And then he comes out on a first down. He throws a pass, I think, Tyler Eifert to get the drive going. And then on the next play, he throws a 45-yard bomb right to DJ Shark in the middle of two players. It was a dangerous throw because that safety's coming over to help on that post route. But he put it right on the money. He put it where Shark can get it. Shark makes an incredible catch, takes the hit from the safety. Minshew put it on the money, and it was almost like a light bulb click for Minshew. Like, try to shave my mustache, motherfuckers. And then on that same drive, on 3rd and 10, instead of settling for the field goal, he throws a perfect pass, back shoulder to Tyler Eifert, who, again, didn't have that much separation from his defender, but Minshew put it where only he could get it. Now we're down only one score. And like I said, most quarterbacks maybe would be rattled after they threw that pick, right? A lot of pressure on you. to perform. You throw a pick, you put your team down in a hole, and now you got to come up and answer, and he did that. That to me shows a lot for Gardner. But it's not all good for Minshew, of course. He's a second-year pro. Of course, he's never going to be perfect, but the drive after that, their next possession, Jacksonville's next possession, we're moving the ball pretty well, but Minshew makes a big mistake here. He's trying to escape a sack here. He's running out of the pocket. He can't outrun his guy. He tries to throw the ball away. It was too late. He gets sacked and a loss of 20 yards. When you take that 20-yard loss, obviously that kills your drive. And then the next drive is another questionable call. It's the pass interference on Josh Jones that extends the drive for the Tennessee Titans. So when I watch it, there's some hand fighting going on between Jonnu Smith and Josh Jones. I honestly I thought that was pretty weak. I really didn't see much there. The wide receivers allowed to hand fight, and the defensive back's allowed to hand fight as well. The only thing I could think of is Josh Jones didn't get his head turned around for the football, so they can say he wasn't making a play. But nothing really there I saw that impeded him from making that catch. Either way they make that call, it's always those 50-50 calls, and depends on who you got for a ref is what you get. After that, they wind up capitalizing and scoring a touchdown. So before the half, Minshew leads them down to the field. They wind up settling for a field goal, and they cut that lead from 14 to 11. There's 12 seconds left in the half. I don't know who made this call. I don't know if it was Doug Marrone or Joe DeCamillis, the special teams coordinator. They decide to squib it. He goes to squib it. It hits the Tennessee player in the shin. Got the ball at like the 50-yard line with 12 seconds left in the half. I think if the Tennessee Titans don't wind up getting a field goal out of this, we really don't say much about this move to squib kick it instead of kicking it out of the end zone. But, why risk it when there's no biscuit involved? What really do you gain about squibbing it? Does Doug Marrone really not trust the defense with 12 seconds left? Chances are they're going to kneel it. I highly doubt that Mike Vrabel is going to be that aggressive. I just thought that was pretty head-scratching. And then on top of that, why can't we make that stop? They're going to throw it. They're going to try to throw it deep to get in the field goal range. I don't know. Anyway, so after halftime, Jags, they move the ball well, and James Robinson, who played a really awesome game, quiet game. I don't think it's really talked about a lot, but he put up 102 yards, and he scores his first NFL touchdown, so congrats to him. Finally, we're getting some momentum, and then the next drive, Tannehill drops back, gets absolutely blasted by Josh Allen, throws the ball in the air. For some reason, Humphries is wide open in the end zone with no one around him. He had like 10 yards of separation on DJ Hayden and Josh Jones. I don't know, when you watch the replay, it looked like maybe Josh Jones is supposed to take that zone from DJ Hayden. They're supposed to switch. I don't know what happened, but it was just bad. And I'm like, where the hell did this Tannehill come from? Maybe I'm wrong on Tannehill. Honestly, before the game, I was like, we forced him to throw, we got a chance. We forced him to throw, and he honestly crushed us. 4 touchdowns, like 230-some yards or whatever it was. When the hell did he become Tom Brady? The only good thing about this was Steven Gostkowski, he misses the extra point. This is a potential controversial play now, right? He missed the extra point. What if we lose by a point type thing? Does he lose his job? Nope. Josh Lambo goes on to do the same thing. He misses the extra point after Jacksonville Jaguars score. So that didn't really matter anything. Still a 7-point game. So Jacksonville Jaguars get a key stop. And again, what I love about Minshew, when he had this ball at this time, at no point I'm thinking like, oh, we need some miracle play and something like that to keep us in it. I always think Minshew is going to keep us in it. And that he did. He throws a perfect ball on a wheel route to Chris Thompson, put the ball right on the money under pressure to tie the game. That was absolutely huge. I was shaking in my boots at this point. After that, tied 30-30. Jacksonville Jaguars make a huge stop, force a 4th down punt. The offense could not capitalize on this. They forced a 3 and out. Clowney came in untouched on Minshew. He had to force a throw. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they thought he lined up offsides. Then Titans got the ball back, and on 3rd down, Myles Jack gets a pass interference. Huge, questionable pass interference, and maybe you guys can let me know what you guys saw. He had his hand on his back, but he was making a play on the football, which, contact is allowed when you're making a play on the football. He didn't turn his shoulder or anything like that. I really don't know where that pass interference came from. I thought that was an awful call. But with that being said, they still had a chance to win the game. After that call, they stop him on 4th down. Gostkowski makes the 51-yard field goal, and you just knew as a Jags fan that he was going to make it. You just knew he was going to freaking make it. All those missed kicks and him potentially losing his job and all that stuff after Denver, literally, against Jacksonville Jaguars, that guy's making it. And there's still time for Minshew to lead this team down the field, and it started going pretty well. He ran. He had a pass to Conley. He tried to get the ball underneath the Keelan Cole, batted up in there, and picked off by a Tennessee defensive lineman. And that was it. Game over. Tough loss. They fought hard all game. And I really hope this puts Jacksonville on some sort of notice around the league that they're not tanking. Gardner Minshew, honestly, to me, is the real deal. I think he's going to be a good QB, and I really hope that they build around him and keep him. So that was the game. Tough loss. Let's get into just some observations I had for the game. All right, so my first observation is this offense can finally score points, and the defense could care less. They can't generate any pressure on the quarterback. Tannehill was way too comfortable in the pocket. He honestly had all day to throw. Very few times he was forced to escape the pocket or make an errant throw or something like that. They just could not generate any rush. And when you can't generate rush, your corners have to be really locked down, and your secondary have to really tighten up. But that didn't happen on the Sunday during the game. I don't know. I think Wash is going to need to change something up. This formula is just not going to work because there's going to be games where the offense struggles. It's just the NFL. It's what happens. So for my second observation, can we trade back for Calais Campbell? My third observation, I think Laviska Shenault Jr., he looks really good so far in this first 2 games as a rookie. He's making just a ton of plays, and it's not those like gadget plays. He is making those gadget plays, but that's not all he's doing. He's making some really good catches. He had 2 really good catches that kept the drive alive. Just excited to see where else he can, succeed on this team. Even though we lost, the player of the game and the play of the game. So for me, the player of the game was Gardner Minshew. Even though he threw his 2 picks, I don't think we're in that game without him. So for me, that makes him the player of the game. I thought a little bit about maybe putting James Robinson there because he had a really good game. But I really think without Minshew leading the way, I don't think we're in that game. And then for the play of the game, the game-tying touchdown to Chris Thompson. Like I said, he put it right on the money under pressure. He's the player of the game, and he had that play of the game. Wish we could have won. Put us up 2-0 in the division, but it's the NFL. You win some, you lose some. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all those who subscribed. If you like more of these videos, please subscribe, hit the like button, comment down below what you thought of that game. And then for my next video, we're playing the Miami Dolphins, Battle of the Floridians. We'll break down that game in a preview. So thank you again for watching. See you guys next video.